What's up, brother?
Chilling, man. What's up with you?
Man, I'm just sitting up here on my podcast and trying to just get some words from Mike McQuarrie. You know, he's always got encouraging words for those that are in relationships and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, what I would say is make sure that you are absolutely sacrificing for the betterment of other people, regardless of the cost to you. Because that is the definition of love, my friend.
That is strong, brother. That is strong. Yeah, I'm just sitting in front of my camera messing with some stuff. I got some new software that I'm gonna try out or whatever, so I was just like making sure all the vocal stuff come in clear on these mics, which these mics is outstanding and stuff like that. But I was just like, just shouting out, just practicing, putting some segments together and stuff like that. And I always knew that you had, some great input on relationships and stuff like that. Because, you've been in a long marriage and you know what it is to give to other people and not expect anything in return. And that's just kind of what, I feel a true man is. Now, this day and age, obviously things has changed, with expectations of what a man's role is or even what a woman's role is. Me personally, I just believe that, we raise our women to be tougher than our men nowadays. It's like the roles is reversed. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, in broken homes, and shout out to all the mothers that raise their kids right or whatever and teach their daughters to be strong. In a sense, that's great. But however, it still stands that, a man and a woman belong together. Two people that love each other belong together, and there's no one above the other. We all have our roles, so why not just stick to our roles?
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think it's deeper than that. I think it's more deeply rooted, as in the reason why you have. And I know we give a shout out to single mothers. I was a part of one. My mom was single. At a point in time in her life, but it's because she chose to go that direction, and my father chose to go a separate direction. But the thing about it is, it's just that the people don't really put the kids first before they put themselves. They want with their ideology of themselves to go for because they're prideful. Because no one wants to do more work than someone else. It's always the pot calling the kettle black. Like you want to make sure you're not doing more work than the other one. And so whatever that is, when they're unevenly yoked, they have a problem with each other. Okay? And because you have a problem with the other person, thinking that they're not putting as much into the relationship, whether it be love, time, money, finances, whatever that is, if they feel like they've measured up the other person's worth and work ethic and energy that's been put into the relationship, they feel like they're putting more. See, the problem is everybody's worried about what everybody else is going to do instead of relying on God to handle the problems or handle whatever, and you just doing your job. That's what people don't do. That's where you find the relationships of the people that have been together for 50 years because they're not measuring up. A man is not measuring up how many rooms a woman is cleaning up, how many dishes she's washing. A woman is not measuring up how many times this guy is going to make the bed, or if he's going to take the trash out every Friday, or whatever. He's just doing his job, she's doing her job, whatever those responsibilities are that they have with one another, or they complement each other, and where one is lacking, the other one is stronger, and they based off of those strengths. And of course, there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be communication, but no one's counting straws. And when you don't count straws against it, just like a team, you've been on a team before, right?
Absolutely.
So anytime that you're a team, you do your job. And you can't be over here saying, oh, no, you're supposed to be going through 22E. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You this is 49 tall sweep. You ain't supposed to be running right here. You can't stop in the middle of the play. You got to finish out the play and do your job and give it the best possible opportunity for success if you complete your job, if you go through with your job.
Man, that's huge. That's huge.
The job is never finished, though. You know what I'm saying?
It's never finished. We used to hear hear the saying all the time, a mother's job is never done, and I totally agree with that, because you are raising that child, believe it or not, even as adults, Hell, I'm 50 years old, Mike, and my mom still raises me because in the back of my mind, if there's something that I want to do that's maybe out of character, and I revert back to saying, would I have done this when I was like 12? Hell no. Reason why is because I know I had a mother to answer to, and then after that I got a father to answer to. So I believe wholeheartedly that the goodness in raising your children the right way, and just without just throwing your hands up in the air saying, well, he just gonna do what he wants to do. I believe that still exists.
Yeah, but Chuck, that it's more so. The issue is the problem that I have with is the idea of raising a child alone that we've become more desensitized to because we've seen it more often. Because realistically, they knew the construct of a family is where the strength lies. Because even if you go back to where they had slaves, they would actually separate the men and the women.
Yep, facts.
Because the slave quarters were different. The men were in a separate slave quarter than the women and the children. That's where that became from. Because they wanted all those bulls to be together. And they did disheartened to not have the encouragement, the nourishment of that woman, the one that stands behind her. And the ones that stayed together mentally, that she was still behind him, she still supported him no matter what she could see. If she couldn't see him, wasn't there, and it don't matter if it's 2 weeks, 3 days, a month, 7 months, 10 months, a year, and then she see her husband that's still his wife, and she still acts as though it's his wife. She still plays her role. And all they had was a barn floor. Right. You know what I'm saying? That woman was the right support for that man. Right? But now we get women that are more desensitized. Our own mothers, they were more desensitized to it. They felt they could do it by themselves. But the deal is this: even if you're not with that person, you still can raise those children together. Because it doesn't matter just because you divorce that person, that doesn't mean they divorce their children. Whether it be man or woman, you can't keep the woman from those children, just like the woman shouldn't keep the man from those children.
That's true.
And if you try to raise those kids together, because I've seen relationships where the children are in a split parent home, but those parents stand together on issues with the child. Now, one may spend the night over another one's house more often than the other, but at the same time, they still have equal input on that relationship, and they still are parenting at the best of their ability together, even though that they're not together as a couple. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the deal is, the presence has to be felt of that father in their life, not as in the bad guy or as in the disciplinarian, okay? But also just a figure and a constant role model, and the values that father has set. It doesn't mean that he has to set house rules in her house, but she has to be willing to make him an active participant in that child's life. And if you have that and you don't have pushback from the female going into that relationship, then the kid senses that as well, and he realizes, yeah, that's still my daddy. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny to me because growing up, we witnessed both sides. Obviously, that, being in the families that we've been in. But just to say, I've kind of became just a little bit more strict on my children in comparison, just saying grading on the curve, based off what I see things that don't happen in those split households, where there's so much backlash on who gets to see the child when, and where you can take them, and it becomes only time you can take them when it's convenient for you. And I've seen that on both ends. I've seen actually, I'm surprised the amount of fathers that actually have full custody of their children.
Yeah, I've noticed there's more that are coming around.
Yeah, and that's unheard of to me. I'm just so used to, you know, back in the day, you knew what it took to raise a child. You know, a child needs his mother. A grown man needs a father. You know what I'm saying? And then later on in life, you know, you still have the daughters that becomes daddy's girls. Very rare do you see, especially growing up in a full household, very rarely do you see the daughters being a mother's girl. They always a daddy's girl. That's just what the label was. I've never really heard of a, you know, but I see it more often now with, you know, split households and stuff like that, and mothers raising their daughters and stuff like that. They cling a lot more to their mothers. But it seems like all children go through this stage. They go through this teddy bear stage when they're young. And like I say, I witnessed this myself with, you know, my daughter, watching her to where she's at the cool age where she don't want to show no affection or nothing like that. And then later on in life, as you get closer to that adulthood, that's when you start coming around. You're more vocal. You come out of your room. You know, you're not a hermit no more. You just come out and you start, you know, just showing love and stuff like that. So, but yeah, man, just times are changing, and, you know, definitely something to talk about. Put the knowledge in the air. And like I said, I'm just enjoying myself, you know, being able to just spread the word, and you know, with the help of others like yourself, you know, makes it all the merrier.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm honored, you know, happy to share my opinion and my views on certain whatever topics that you may have.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, it's just good to catch up, man. And like I said, you've always been one of those guys. If I had something seriously on my mind, you know, you and I got a couple other guys that, I mean, we just, as men, we grow every day, and we just talk about little things that, you know, can turn into something big for somebody else. So, you know, Ruan, Zaire, and those guys like that, you know, it's always a conversation that involves like a three-way call. Like, they'll call me and say, all right, we got a topic to discuss. And we'll talk on the phone for 2 hours about the same topic. Parts we agree on, parts we don't agree on, and just getting the other person's perspective on what it is they feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, that's kind of what I'm about right now. You know, I'm trying to keep everything as positive as possible. However, you know, you need to have some controversial topics to talk about as well, because if you sweep them under the rug all the time, there's no awareness getting put out to the planet.
Right.
So that's just where I'm at with it, brother. I said, you know what, let me call Mike, chop it up with him for like 10 minutes before I got to ride out. And I'm definitely going to send you this segment to you.
Oh, okay.
Just
no worries,
stuff like
no
that.
worries.
So,
well, listen, I'm definitely here for you for sure. Just let me know if we need anything else.
Right on. All right, brother, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
People. Trying to put positive stuff out there. Just notable things out there that we can all just talk about, gain some knowledge from, and hopefully, you know, raise our children in a better environment. You know, who's to say that, you know, a child's not going to be raised without his father, a child's not going to be raised without his mother. We not promised tomorrow. So, with that being said, just wanted to touch base with one of my guys that's always positive, and he makes me a positive person, and just wanted to get it out there to you. So anyway, I got some runs to make. I'm signing off for the evening. Sayonara. See you on the